Hey guys, Paul here again at Rapids. I'm here with Ben, he's our resident beer expert, and we're going to talk about beer towers and essentially the things you should be looking for or asking for when you go to buy your beer tower. Okay Ben, so I'm looking at our setup here and it looks like we have two different styles of beer tower. What's the difference between these two?
Sure, so what we've got here is a standard American style tea tower, obviously, from the shape is what that's named after. And then over here we've got what's commonly referred to as a pass-through tower or sometimes an H tower.
That makes sense. H.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how they came up with pass-through?
So pass-through was originally, the term was coined because for an air-cooled system, you would have to have an air supply and an air return blowing the cold air from your walk-in cooler, and it just blows and passes right through the tower.
Okay.
The objective, of course, being to try and keep the beer lines as cold as possible. Like when we were talking about the trunk line, when we were talking about the glycol chillers, the difference here is that you would actually have a conduit, a duct, that your beer lines would be blowing through, and the cold air would be blowing right along with it, and then all the way up through the box and then returning to the cooler.
Okay. These can obviously be used for glycol as well, though, correct?
They can, yeah. They can be modified. We keep a few of the tea tower styles like this in stock for air-cooled systems and stuff, but we can get these pass-throughs modified for glycol straight from the manufacturer. And
so when you get one of these glycol equipped, essentially there's a cooling block that goes over each of the shanks?
Yeah, on the back of the faucet, there's the metal shank, which is the part that actually penetrates through the wall of the tower.
Okay.
That's the shank. And then on the back side of the shank, what they do is they install an aluminum block on there. And then there's a piece of either stainless or copper tubing that connects all those that your glycol is actually flowing through. And then obviously the glycol cools the block, which cools the shank, which keeps your beer cool all the way to the faucet.
Got it. In that instance though, even though we were using one of these H-shaped towers, the glycol line's going to come in, go across all the blocks, then I assume it's going to turn around and come back, because it still needs to come in and out of just one of these columns, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. Because that's where your trunk line is?
Yep. And we can get them set up so that they go through either leg or both legs, however you want to do it, depending on how big your tower is, of course.
Having two columns, though, gives you the advantage to split up your beer lines, though, right?
Yes, if necessary, yeah. Especially if you've got a big tower. I mean, this is just an 8 product, but if you've got like a 10 or 12 or 20, maybe you want to do it in 2 separate runs, so we've got like 2 different glycol loops.
Okay.
So that if you've got a chiller that's got 2 pumps on it, and one of those pumps goes down, then you don't lose all 20 of your beers, you would just lose like 10.
You just half your bank and you're still serving at least something.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, so with the design on this one, I noticed that there's another type of box that we are carrying called the Shoebox design. Can you tell us a little bit about how that differs from these?
So basically it's pretty much the same as this setup that we've got here, but just like a standard shoebox that you buy shoes in, the top of it just slips right over, and then you don't have any of the screws that you would see like on the front here and stuff like that. And that's basically just for ease of being able to get in and access the stuff inside if you have, a line that gets a leak in it for some reason, or if you have to replace a shank or something along those lines.
So if you're like way high volume and you're more susceptible for there to be, just some routine maintenance that has to happen.
Yeah, basically just ease of maintenance.
Okay. And I imagine then having that design and without the exposed screw heads, just a smoother finish appearance.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I did take one of these apart earlier. There are screws you have to take it apart, but it's really no big whoop to take those out to get into it. These are all, I noticed right away, fully insulated.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Saw that as you were trying to pull through the insulation to try and get in there.
The columns as well are insulated. I did notice that. And then on all of the ones that we're carrying, the beer lines that are supplied have they have a hex head for it that goes over the tailpiece that hooks up to a standard coupler?
Yes, if they're set up for an air-cooled system, they'll always have that hex nut and tailpiece on the end so that you can just screw right into a standard keg coupler for like a kegerator or something like that. If they're set up for glycol, they don't normally have that hex head on there because usually you're going to have a hose union, which is basically just, a splicer so that you can connect the choker line coming out of the tower directly to your trunk line.
Got it. Good insight there. Okay, so let's talk about other kinds of towers. So these are probably the most popular. Stainless steel, 3-inch diameter column. We sell the most of those by far,
Exactly.
right?
Yep. Simple, basic, clean, inexpensive.
Benefit of going to a 4-inch column is
usually you're going to have that with the taller, or with the bigger towers that have more products, like a 16, 20, 24 product tower.
Okay.
Just because trying to fit that many lines through a 3-inch column starts getting difficult.
Not nearly as possible, but brass finish is available too, I saw.
Brass finish is available. It's a little bit more difficult to come by. It comes with cost associated with that.
Sure.
But some people they love that brass finish.
Sure. For fancy, I did notice the ceramic towers that are available. Some of these mushroom towers. Speak to us about mushroom towers.
Mushroom tower is an old school European design where you've got the tower that's kind of either in a ball or a round, and then the faucets literally wrap around the tower, and then you usually have a drip tray that kind of matches that well with a cutout on it. That really look great, really fancy. They really add a little class to your bar area.
Cool. Well, geez, any parting thoughts about beer towers that you might add for these folks?
Just to let people know that a lot of these, I shouldn't say a lot of them, all of these parts are with the commercial towers are going to be interchangeable. So if you have your own faucets or you have a specific type of faucet that you really prefer, like there's a lot of people that are big fans of like the Pearl forward sealing faucets and stuff. All those are completely interchangeable.
Okay.
And we can even special order some of these towers without the faucets on them, so you can put your own faucets on.
Perfect. Well, thanks again so much for your time, Ben. It's been a pleasure talking to you about beer towers. And I would also add, if you have any other questions about your long draw system, getting a new tower, replacement tower, or starting from scratch, I'd encourage you to give the guys like Ben over here a buzz, or you can jump on our online chat.
As always, it's been a pleasure, Paul.
I appreciate it.